Okay. Fine. Like I say, turtle warp speed. I'm finally together. I got my coffee. It's about my second cup. Well, just reheated what I had left over. That was my first cup, and that wasn't doing it. So I made another pot. So this is the first one out of a new pot. So I'll probably have some left over for tomorrow. Uh, but yeah, I'm gonna go pick up my sister. I woke up and called her like about an hour ago. I said, "Yeah, I'll be there about 12 o'clock, more or less, kind of, sort of." So it is, still kind of, sort of, more or less. And we're going to go somewhere and buy something for somebody. We'll see. And chocolates. She wants chocolate. I want chocolate. You know, special chocolate. And I don't know if she's out of weed or not. She had a whole ounce, ounce 28 pre-rolls. And I don't know, it's been a while. Been about a week. And me too. I don't have any. I have been acting poor. I might be poor, I'm not sure. And I think I might splurge. And maybe people have something for Christmas. Forever love, how are you? It's good to see you. Merry Christmas. Yes, I'm finally getting around. I've been up for a little while, but just kind of dragging around. I still need to do some things. I need to put the ham out. It's still in the freezer. Or we'll be going to McDonald's. And yeah, it's good to see you too. I'll put the link out in a little while after I kind of wake up a little bit. But yeah, I showed this video the other day, and I made a comment that my dad wouldn't have gone to jail. I should have had more faith in my dad and let him know some things, and had faith that he would have handled it and not gone to jail. And I think it kind of, some people took it that he might have been like, the voice of sweet reason and light and use your words. And no, I mean, he wouldn't have got caught, is what I mean, and gone to jail. That's what I mean. So, yeah, let me have some coffee. I was going to tell some stories about my dad. I'll start with like a Thanksgiving story, warm fuzzy, sort of our version, our family version of warm and fuzzy. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I was still married. And we were all down at mom and dad's for Thanksgiving. And my grandma lived with us, daddy's mama. And she was out on this, out on the porch having her cigarette and coffee. And she came running in, and I've told this story before. They shot me, they shot me. And everybody's like, what? They shot me. And so before we could even, like, we were still standing there with our mouths open. And before we could even blink, Dad was out the door with a rifle in his hand. And I looked out the door and watched him cross the yard. And before he got halfway across the yard, there was tall grass, around the edge, like there still is. But I mean, like thick, tall grass. And I watched him because Dad used to be like recon, military recon, kind of special forces, security clearances, and all kind of thing. Anyway, Dad was trained. And so I watched him, and he just disappeared into that grass. Military, just like a movie. He was down low and sweeping his feet, and he taught me that if you don't want to leave a trail, you don't walk, straight. You swing your leg out and sweep your feet, and that helps disguise your trail. And that's what he was doing. He was sweeping and low to the ground just fast, and he disappeared in that grass. And When I saw him, well, there were some black people, some black men out on the road in front of the house. And, this is what my grandma was telling us while daddy was out there, I was watching. And they started getting their guns out because I told you how people get during deer season. They just go crazy and feel like they can go anywhere and shoot anything that moves. Anyway, they stopped right in front of the house and started getting out their guns, getting ready to go hunt. And she stood up and told them, "We don't allow hunting out here." And one of them turned and shot her. And it was only birdshot, but still yet, she was old and it was you just I mean, still yet, that's what daddy was out there doing. So anyway, that's what she said happened. So daddy was already out there when I looked, and they were still getting their guns out of the car. And bam, there was daddy right there at the fence, right there with his gun up at him. And he joked about what happened, but I was watching. And it got real quiet. Yeah. And they got back in their cars. And daddy had some extra guns. So he said what he had done, he kinda laughed about it, but not really. That because you had to know dad, and that was his mother they had done. So anyway, he said that, he took their guns, 'cause what are they gonna do? And, their wallets. He told them throw down their wallets, and he took their IDs. And he said, "I know who you are, and I know where you live. If I ever see you again, even crossing the street in town, I'll shoot you and I'll kill you." And he told him, "Go." So, that was dad. But he did know who they were and he knew where they lived. And it didn't matter that he did it right then at the minute. What matters is that you get the job done eventually, somewhere, sometime, because he knew where they lived. And that was his mother. Anyway, that was daddy. That was one story. That was Thanksgiving. And he was raised by the old man. He was one of those pioneer people. And I always think about Lonesome Dove, those kind of men, from what I hear about the old man. And, what else? Oh, yeah, True Grit, Oklahoma during True Grit times, because that's when the old man was around. But he was like a 2nd or 3rd husband. But anyway, he was the mean white man. Like I say, you gotta have a mean white man if you're gonna survive. And he was a mean old white man. But he shot people, he hung people. He was supposed to be sorta like a halfway sorta deputy. I mean, during those times when you had to go to, Arkansas and get a, federal marshal or a light horse, and that took a day or 2. So people took care of their own business. You had to take care of your own business because it took days. There wasn't any 911. So anyway, old man was like that. And there's a story that when statehood came, and I read this online on a history where they interviewed old timers, that they knew whose land they could get, what Indian land they could get, because this was all, after the removal. And everybody's supposed to get land to help them, compensate. But he said they knew what land they could get. So they put those Indians on the proposed railroad line so they could get the railroad through. And they had intended to take the home place because McDermott was already a town. We already had a store. There was a post office. People lived there. There was a railroad spur there for the, livestock, ship them out. And they were wanting to try and take over Okemah, wanted to take it. And the old man ran them off with guns and told them move it down the line, which they did. And that's where Okemah is now down the line from where the home place was. So that was the old man. He used to get drunk with the governor. They used to party around. So that's who raised daddy. Mhm. So everybody knew the old man. I told the story about the old man barber. He said when he was young that the old man was one of his first customers, and he was scared to death. He said, "I knew if I cut him, he'd shoot me." Because this was written in somebody's history of Okemah, some judge. That, it's a family story too. Some boy was trying to mess around with one of the girls, and I found some stuff in an old suitcase that backed it up, like old love letters. Anyway, so the old man shot him in broad daylight on the courthouse steps. And what? Nothing happened to him. So anyway, that was the old man who raised Daddy. And so Daddy had a name too, and Daddy was known. Oh, yeah. There was a story in those letters, and I was a fool, and I gave those suitcases to my brother, and he has lost them. Or at least one of them, and I thought, oh, there was so much in there. So much in there. I mean, original titles and deeds that were signed by the old chiefs and President Jackson and all kind of crap was in there. Original documents. That Daddy's mama had saved from the home place. But, oh well. So I know it. That's what I was trying to get done. And he said he never even looked at it, and it's been years. And I finally started asking for it back, and I think he might give it back. But, I mean, holy cow. At least look. That's what I gave it to him for, was to, look. But, oh well. And let me see. Let me try to think of another story about that. I should have written them down, or at least made a note, about Dad. What else? Well, my brother said that he got called in campus one day. Somebody called him by Dad's old nickname. So he turned around, and that man asked him, if he was related, and he said, yeah, that's my dad. And he said, let me shake your hand. Did your dad ever tell you what he did in the war? He said, no. He said, well, you need to get him to tell you one day. But he never did ask him. So anyway, there's that. What else? Well, that's just kind of an idea. And like I said, every deer season, there are poachers, just like those guys that stopped in front of the house that feel like they've got guns so they can do whatever they want to, and they feel big. And besides that, a lot of them, they're drunk. And they have to go out and confront them. And I've heard several stories where the poachers just turn their guns on them and say, make me. And so they say, well, okay. And they do. They make them leave. But, I mean, really. That just seems totally unnecessary, but it is, apparently. Yeah, I was going to tell one big story about Dad. But I'll think about it. I'll hint at it. But no. This one boy came up dead one night. They said that he had probably been caught stealing oil field equipment. He was out on some oil field road. But my girlfriend said that he had come to their house. She was kind of mad at his behavior. And her husband had laughed at Daddy and said there was nothing he could do about it because he was a minor. And later on, that's the one that was found out on some oil field road somewhere, dead. So that's what I mean. he probably wouldn't have got caught. My daddy wouldn't have gone to jail. So I'll play it again, and then I'm gonna go get ready to go shopping. Yeah. I think those are enough hints. So I'll play it again. Like I said, I should write them down. Am I doing this? Okay, here we go.
Wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the days from your love, you see. I came back to let you know I got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, but they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do, my friends won't.
Okay, that's enough. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go and just go next town over, probably go pick her up. She's probably still dragging around like I am. Because when I called her a while ago, see if she wanted to go, I know she did. I was just gonna let her know that I was, getting ready to get around. She was still just getting around too on her first cup of coffee. Like I said, we both move at the same turtle warp speed. Warp speed! Oh, dang. But it looks like it's going to be good. Oh my God, vampire. Yeah, it looks like a beautiful day outside. And I'm going to have to buy a new mop bucket. Leon took his mop bucket back. So I guess I'll buy my own mop bucket and mop the floor because Big Dog still, it's not muddy, but he likes to roll around in the spot that he has made that is just dirt. Like he scratches his back. And so when he comes in the house and shakes off, it's pretty dirty. Isn't it? So I really should sweep that up and get my own mop bucket. I have a mop. Because I've tried using those little Swiffer thingies, and those just don't do it. I mean, I run through 3 or 4 little Swiffer thingies just going through the living room. So I need like old-fashioned, which I did use, mop bucket and mop and a wringer, and which is a step above getting down with a brush, which I have done before. I can do it. It's not fun, but I can. I would rather just do this by a mop bucket. But I mean, holy cow. Do I really want to buy myself a mop bucket for Christmas? There are limits to practicality. Okay, anyway. Oh, and I introduced my sister to shopgoodwill.com. She's already seen a $300 full-length mink coat. Only thing that's saving her is she doesn't know how to set her email up on her little laptop, so she's not able to set up her account. That's all that's saving her from a $300 full-length mink coat. But, oh well, it's fun. Oh my God. Okay, I better go. Okay, bye. Merry Christmas. I'll see you later on, probably. Bye.